Hey, so this is just a mini podcast. I'm sorry if the sound quality isn't as good as it usually is. That is because, hang on, I am trying to record more of them. However, I thought I would do a podcast whilst I'm painting today, and I haven't got the right cables for my laptop, so we're just going to try this. And if the sound quality isn't good enough, we won't do it like this again. And also, being able to paint whilst I'm doing a podcast episode allows my brain to disengage from my painting, which is always handy. So, following on from my last podcast when I was talking about, it feels really weird to have my back to the camera while I'm talking. When I was talking about overwhelm, and I haven't learned my lesson because I got overwhelmed last week after this amazing business conference and coming away with so many ideas and truly having the energy that I was getting from the ideas to work. What I found is that by attacking several ideas at once, whilst doing them one by one, you just can't help but spark off other ideas. And maybe I should be restraining myself when other ideas come in. I think that's the thing. But, you know, it's all just learning, isn't it? So next time I'm trying to do one thing and one thing only, and I get other ideas, I'm going to rein myself in, park them and rein myself in. So when I thought I'd sort of sorted out how overwhelmed I was feeling by getting into nature and painting outdoors last week, I then found that actually I went straight back a day and a half later to feeling absolutely overwhelmed again. So what I am learning... Well, I'm not sure if this is going to work. I'm now making noise on the canvas with my head in the wrong direction. Is that I've got a really tricky balance to try and get right. And actually, it's not that tricky. I'm not going to overdo things. Gosh, I actually feel like I'm more in the mood to do that painting than this painting. So we're going to take this one down and we're going to change it over. So all this that I keep talking about with the whole wanting to work in a state of flow and not have a business strategy, and then of course a business strategy course came my way, which felt like, well, I'm going with the flow, so okay, I'll do the business course. All of this has got me to the point where I'm realising it's actually quite difficult to do a business strategy whilst allowing things to flow. And that is where I'm at, that I'm trying to get the balance between wanting to execute the amazing things that I've been taught, whilst also wanting to get up every day and do what I feel inspired to do, because that's what's been working. So then changing it from doing what feels inspiring, business, painting, podcast, whatever it is, to what's on the list has proven to be tricky, which is interesting because I have actually been feeling really good about the work I was doing last week. So that's where I'm at the moment. What are your thoughts? You've been listening to this. If you've been a listener for a while, you know what I'm trying to accomplish here. A lot of you are on your own spiritual journeys too. So it'd be really interesting to get any feedback from you guys that are listening in, that are probably seeing things that I don't see because, you know, I'm this close to my own face and I might not see the most obvious points here. But that's where I'm at the moment. And I do like that. That's nice. And so this week I am trying to get more of a balance and move into going back into moving slowly, setting myself, well, in fact, I've missed I've kicked the tripod. I've missed a really, really good point, that in this business conference, there was all this amazing business strategy that we're being taught. And then there was this small but very, very significant bit that they talked about, which I did not implement, which is, I can't remember what it was exactly, what the story was, the details, but it was something about an expedition to probably one of the poles. I think it was in the Arctic or something like that. And it was a long time ago, I believe. And I mean, you might have heard of it. It's the 20-mile march concept. And so 2 teams were trying to make it to this one place with their flags. And one team just did what I did last week. Did as much as they could every day and then stopped. And if it was terrible weather, they wouldn't walk for a few days, and they'd get all cold and all sort of stiff in their tents. But then when it was better weather, they would go, you know, for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, miles and miles and miles. But the people, I believe, who won were the ones that did 20 miles a day, every day, no more, no less. Now, I can completely understand no less on a bad weather day, but it is very difficult for someone like me who's very driven and does what they love, and so I get natural energy and drive to work very easily, to accept the idea of doing less when you're feeling inspired to do more. And I did not implement that idea at all last week when I got back from the conference, and you know, I got back halfway through the week preceding that. So 10 days of doing what the other team that didn't win did, of just going, whenever there's inspiration, go, and if there's not, okay, fine, I'll collapse. And so that is what I'm trying to do this week. Figure out, how does that look? It's looking at the moment as sort of 4 1-hour focused slots of work a day in the school hours, and actually already today it's only going to be 3 hours, or actually it might be 4, I don't know, but you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, because you know what I'm like. I'm not a perfectionist generally, but I do have very oh, my plant has completely died. Look at this plant was beautiful the other day. I did move it to the windowsill, maybe it didn't like its new position. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, I have not implemented that part of the conference, and I think that is what's needed this week. Just going, what are the most important things? Not getting sidetracked when I have other ideas, and then, yeah, just going, I'm going to work less and go slower, because I got a bit fast last week, and I got a bit like a racehorse bolting with pure excitement and loving life, but actually it doesn't serve me. So it's good. It's good to recognise when things don't serve me and to make tweaks. And so that is one of the tweaks. Oh, I like that bit. I am going to be making this week, and I'll let you know how that how that goes, how I get on. So I'm still feeling quite tired, but anyway. I'm not here for long, actually. I've got to go on and do other things. So I just thought, whilst I record this podcast, I'll do a bit of painting. So clearly I'm feeling quite tired, so maybe I shouldn't even be painting now, but it's fine. I'm all just learning. Right, I'm going to go back to my other painting now, but I do want to finish on one last thing, which is how I very quickly clicked out of overwhelm this morning. Because I still woke up feeling like I am so, and it's not even like a massively sort of mental overwhelm, it's just a sense of being absolutely exhausted because I've almost overworked my mind for 10 days in a straight, and overworked myself really by working, you know, longer hours, and I think I've probably worked every weekend in January so far, pretty much. I've had the odd day, but the drive has just been there to work. So this morning I woke up and I was like, oh gosh, you know, I'm all ready to go. Okay, I'm going to calm down, go slower, do less, do these 4 1-hour sprints. And I don't feel like it. I'm not in the mood. But I got myself out of it in 2 seconds. Let me change over the painting and then tell you all about it. Was it that way around before? Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was. Where does it need a bit more turquoise? Here. So this morning I wake up, not in the mood to work. And what I did, so simple, is I just thought about the big picture. Why am I doing all this big business strategy? Why am I trying to scale my business quickly? Think about the reasons why, and it is amazing how when you set your eyes on what the vision is for your life and for your family. I then just thought it's absolutely bonkers to be sitting here feeling like I'm not in the mood. And also there was something else that I saw on a, or maybe I heard it on a podcast, something that I saw or read or something recently, which was to recognise when we're saying, I don't feel like doing such and such. And when you find yourself saying that, actually, I can't even remember what the advice was, but what I took away from it was to recognise, oh, I'm doing the I don't feel like thing. Well, I can change how I feel by changing my choices and changing my mindset. So I don't feel is kind of never a good enough reason to not do something. You need to go deeper. Maybe there is a real reason why you don't want to do something and you don't have to, and it's not good for you right then. But this morning I woke up, you know, I've slowed down, everything's great, I'm doing what I want to do, but I don't feel like it. So it was just super good to just remind myself why I'm doing it, what the vision is, where I'm going. And amazingly, instantly, I felt like it. And the key thing was to remember to go slow, to not expect to have that energy that I had last week because I went and burnt myself out overdoing it with the energy, but instead to slow right down and go, okay, I now know what I'm doing. I'm just going to take things one thing at a time. And that has served me really well this morning. I've got 2 1-hour sprints done, got more than I expected to get done today, but I'm not charging like a racehorse anymore. So I don't know if that helps anybody. That's me done with talking, but do you want to see the last bit of the painting? For those painty followers, I will record the last bit of the painting. But if you're just here for the chat, then that's it for this week. Thanks for listening. Can you even see that? You can. And there's that magic feeling that it's done. I love that. For me, the magic feeling comes when I look all around the painting and it just feels, okay, it just feels done. Actually, that's not really telling you anything, is it? But literally that is it. I look around the painting and there isn't this sort of longing to sort out a certain corner. I just know it's done. I was going to try and give you a bit of an insight then, but I don't think that helps very much. And actually, I saved the real little bits of gold for when I have my sticks and ink one-to-one experiences where people come in and I tell them everything about the process, because I try not to just, you can't give away your most sort of valuable thing just give it away willy-nilly. So many people have said that by me not doing that, I have given them permission to value their knowledge and expertise. So yeah, if you ever want to know, just book in a one-to-one and we can spend a couple of days in the studio telling you everything about my process, because there is a bit more to it than that. So sorry, I started to tell you and then I decided not going to. So that's it done. I'm going to be taking that along to my son's assembly next week when I go and do an assembly to the key stage 2 kids, so they're from about age 7, 8, 9, 10, so 7 to sort of 11ish, and so I'm going to tell them all about what it's like to be an artist. I cannot wait. And that's one of my paintings I'm going to take. I might start a new one because can I show you my newest piece of equipment? Hang on. So I have been making do with this guy for scraping, and this guy, but now, do you want to see the scale? I have this guy. Speedball squeegee thing. Very excited. I haven't been able to find one this big before. Just really want to... Oh yeah, that's going to feel pretty good. Very excited. What's the time? 1:30. Oh, I've got a call in an hour and I'm supposed to make a shepherd's pie before then, so I don't think I've got time to play with it today. But yeah, maybe I'll be able to do a little video when I crack this out for the first time, put it on YouTube. Okay, thanks for listening.